Well, hello everyone. I just want to make a video today about Black Monday in the markets and what's happening right now. So, Black Monday happened, but the problem started before that. The economy was weak, and they was waiting for a moment to begin the unraveling. To officially, we had a recession already, but to officially begin the recession. So, people were talking about the Japanese yen trade for about 2 months before this happened. And basically what that is that institutions in Japan, hedge funds, different things like that, had borrowed money at negative interest rate, next to zero interest rates in Japan. And then the money they got, they'd invest it in the US market, into tech stocks, into US bonds, different things, because the interest rates were high there. And then, because of the currency difference and the Japanese government started to hike rates a little bit, they couldn't bear it. They couldn't bear it all. Worked on a negative rate, so you start upping them, and they won't. So they deleveraged their positions and pulled out. Now they only pulled out 50% of their positions, which means there's still another 50% they have to pull out at some point. Now the reason it was the blip was because Japanese central bank said, oh well, we're not going to increase interest rates anymore. We're not going to do it. Which makes no sense, because the way the markets are, the way things are, where they're heading, they got to do something, else they're going to suffer. They're going to suffer hard. And so is the US. The debt and the printing is out of control. They're not going to stop. So I think we're in recession officially now, and that the unraveling of the US markets has begun. We're going to see higher highs and lower lows, and a lot more Black Mondays coming in the banking sector, in real estate. I think the next thing you'll get is probably commercial real estate, because there's so many buildings now that, you know, commercial properties, and they're empty. No one's in them. So they just built one, well, renovated one here locally, and they're asking what, £89 a week, and it doesn't seem too bad, but who's going to pay that? The space is not that big. It really isn't, that they've got there, and they're asking that price. This is not going to happen. And this is why you're going to see higher highs and lower lows. Yesterday we saw Starbucks. They got rid of their CEO, and the deputy CEO was moved up to CEO, and the stock rallied on that. It rallied heavily, jumped from like, I don't know, like $78 a share to nearly $100 a share. Is that really news to move the price? Has the fundamentals of the business changed at all? No. He's the guy who's already there, who's just got a promotion. It's not a new guy coming in with ideas. It doesn't have a new management system. They've not opened any new stores. They've not come up with a new concept idea or sold more coffees. Everything else is still the same. They've just switched people around. They've moved the deck chairs on the Titanic, and you're going to see a lot of that coming. A lot of deck chairs on the Titanic being moved, and it will push your stock super high, and you'll see a lot of deck chairs on the Titanic moved, and it will push your stock low. And the fundamentals of the business, the earnings, the job reports, the new things coming out, all the same. Nothing has changed. So another thing is the AI bubble. You know, eBay the other day came out with a new storefront, and they said, oh, we've used AI and for our search and all this stuff. They haven't. Only thing they've done is they took Amazon's layout with a slider for the price and the layout of the items, making them bigger, and the search bar, and just copied it. And they said, oh well, AI told us to do this. Many AI things are buzzwords, and there's no way of seeing how it's profitable. And we don't even have the power at the moment to make AI in a way that it will make it profitable. Same with electric cars, you know. Tesla's a great car, but everyone can't have one at the moment because the power grid can't handle it. It just can't. So how's it going to handle AI? We need to build far more nuclear power plants and servers and infrastructure, and unless the government's forced, they ain't going that way. So now let's briefly talk about precious metals and other assets that are going to be okay coming, because I've got a feeling that gold, silver, palladium, these things, copper, are going extremely well. They will not have an up-down cycle. They'll just have a one trajectory, reflecting the current inflation, which is going to go up. It's going to go crazy. Even if the Fed cuts, cutting means more inflation, because they're going to print. They're going to print it to keep things going, especially in an election cycle. You know, I think there'll be bumps on the way, but the real crash won't happen probably until Donald Trump. And they're probably going to try and blame it for it, but they will deleverage their positions under him. I think that they have enough paper mache, enough fake money to throw around to keep things going until then. So I'm talking maybe 6 months after he's elected. Things will really come off the rails then. People really see things get bad. But you never know. Maybe he's the right person to be in that position, even though these things are happening. They'll happen anyway. Doesn't matter who's there, you know. You've got a train where there's no track at the end. It's going to come off no matter who's the driver. But it depends how he picks it up afterwards, you know. How he picks it up, how he puts it back together, and what we get. So it'll be very interesting. I'd avoid all the tech stocks at the moment, even Bitcoin I avoid. There's good sides to Bitcoin, but there's bad sides. One bad side is that it's connected to tech stocks. That the same people who own Bitcoin own Tesla and Microsoft and Nvidia and all these different things. So they have to cover their positions. So when Nvidia goes down, they might have to sell some Bitcoin. I mean, on Black Monday, Bitcoin lost $7,000 or something insane. You shouldn't move like that. You really shouldn't, if it's a hedge against inflation and many other things. So another one to talk about is Intel. Intel is actually a company to watch. I don't think now's the buy, but the stock's grown down to like $20 nearly or something. It's just completely tanked. I think soon that's just a snowball from people seeing the direction and jumping on, shorting the stock. But I think there's fundamentals of Intel. I mean, there's so many stuff out there that have Intel chip in. And I see a bright future. I think they can do things in a space that few companies can. There's AMD obviously, but I just don't think now's quite the time to buy. Even though it's gone to 20, I think it's going to come back up. But then when the real unraveling, the real crash happens, when you see the rest of the tech stocks really tank, that'll go weird. And then's the time to buy Nvidia. The Intel. Then's the time to buy Intel. Probably seen Nvidia go back to down, because the high on Nvidia is all about AI. And when you realize that it's not going to make them any money, that the implementation, oh, you can get a slightly better search engine, So what? So what? That's not gonna put value in. That's gonna do too much. So, and this is, I think, why someone like Warren Buffett deleveraged his position. You remember, he got out. He got out before Black Monday. He got Apple stock and many other things. And he's got cash on the side now. And he's sitting there waiting for the collapse. What's happening? He's waiting for that right moment of like, okay, the roller coaster's off the tracks, the price and everything are tanking, and then you sit down, you look at the fundamentals of these companies, what they do, and you say to yourself, that's still going to be there. That's still a great company. It's just that they've messed up. They've bought their own stock back. They've pumped things high through false promises, you could say, or pie in the sky ideas that are not become realistic. And yeah. So I would not be investing in the markets right now, unless you're in some sort of precious metal ETF, gold stocks, something very defensive, something that I mean, you could take physical precious metals, or go to a mint and keep it at a mint, or buy something that mints on its ledger, because the mints are in a very special position, because it's not in the financial system in some ways, and it's not exactly in the governmental system either. It's in a position that it's been there since the monarchy, you know, since there was kings and queens, for, you know, democracy, and will be there, I think, way afterwards. They provide something so unique, so backed by not just the crown, by the government and financial institutions, you know, the trifecta of things. So if things do go wrong, I think they'll still be here, you know. I think they'll still be live, kicking. And I think the worst case scenario that would happen is that when the price goes insane, they cash you out, or they pay you the price before it went insane. Now you might feel cheated by that, but what you gotta remember is that basically you would have had that time before it went insane, where it still would have been a gain. So, you know, oh, I gained $1,000 instead of $2,000. Well, you still got $1,000. And the other guy who's in, you know, some tech stock just lost, you know, $5,000, lost everything. So, anyway, let's see what happens. We're in interesting times. You all right? I'm gonna go work out and have some food. So, see you later.